Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to figure out what's really going on behind all the corporate jargon. Today we're diving into a proxy statement, which is like the company giving you a cheat sheet before their annual meeting. Think of it as a school election where the candidates try to convince you they're the best for student council. But in this case, it's about who should run the company. And just like those elections, things can get a little dramatic. We're looking at Euronet Worldwide's proxy statement. This document is letting shareholders know what's on the agenda for their big meeting in May. They'll be voting on things like who gets to be on the board of directors, how much the top executives get paid, and which accounting firm gets to check Euronet's books. Let's get into the details and see what this all means. The meeting will be held in their Kansas headquarters and is scheduled to happen in May. The main items up for a vote are to select 3 Class I directors, to give an advisory yay or nay to executive pay, and to decide if they want KPMG to keep auditing their company for the year. Euronet seems to care what its stockholders think. In 2024, they reached out to stockholders to discuss board changes, executive pay, and even the structure of their board. That's right, they discussed all those items to find out what people are saying. It looks like Euronet is trying to be a good corporate citizen. Their report talks about environmental responsibility, supporting employees, and strong business ethics. They even hired a consultant to help them refine their environmental, social, and governance goals, or ESG priorities. Now, who owns this company? It looks like BlackRock, Vanguard, and Allspring Global Investment Holdings are the big players, each holding more than 5% of Euronet stock. These are the big institutional investors, the ones with the most influence. The board of directors had 4 meetings last year, and they have 3 main committees that meet regularly to take care of business. The audit committee makes sure the financials are in order. The compensation committee decides how much the executives get paid. And the nominating and corporate governance committee finds and recommends new people for the board. Time to talk about the election. 3 people are being nominated for Class I director positions. The company recommends voting for Michael Brown, Sergi Herrero, and Brad Sprong. A closer look into the board's composition shows that 3 directors are part of the audit committee, 7 directors are part of the compensation committee, and 7 directors are in the nominating and corporate governance committee. Next up, Proposal 2 is a say-on-pay vote, where stockholders get to give an advisory vote on whether they approve of how much the executives are getting paid. The board recommends voting for the executive compensation. It's all advisory and therefore not binding. Finally, Proposal 3 is about picking the accounting firm. The board recommends voting for KPMG to be their independent auditor for the year. If you do not tell your broker what to do with your shares, brokers can be allowed to vote on your behalf on the KPMG selection since it's considered a routine matter. Time to talk about the money. According to the findings, CEO Michael Brown's total direct compensation for 2024 was about $13.2 million. That includes a base salary, a performance bonus, and long-term incentives. Here's the top line for 2024. The company claims 8% revenue increase, a 16% increase in adjusted operating income, and a 15% increase in adjusted earnings per share. Those are some nice numbers. It looks like Euronet had a pretty good year. Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer Rick Weller got total pay of just under $6 million, and Nikos founders Kevin Koponiki and Juan Bianchi all got total pay in the $4 to $5 million range. Check this out. It looks like the CEO's take-home value on equity vesting was just 12% and 16% of what was reported initially in the fillings. So 1/10 of what was awarded came to fruition. The rest of the paper riches went away because the marks didn't hit or the stock price tanked. But wait, the filling claims that their stock holdings in general make them very aligned with the stockholders' interest. That's because the stock prices were high in 2019 and 2020 in the $150 range, and currently the price sits in the $100 range, meaning a lot of unrealized gains turned real losses. The other executives are about 1/3 of the summary value to vesting value, so it's not great all around, but it is what it is. A business is a business. Looking at the board again, it seems to have many different industry experts. They have former executive officers, academics, and board members with experience in the payments and software sectors. But it also states that most of the directors are independent, which means they aren't tied to management. Thomas McDonald is the lead independent director. Now, after going through this report, what do we really learn? Here's my quick and dirty analysis in raw numbers. First, the company's revenue and adjusted income is growing by double digits. Good times. Second, the top executives are definitely making a lot of money, but they are not cashing out to the same degree, so it could be worse. Third, like most companies, when the company suffers, most stockholders also suffer, and there is nothing wrong with the structure, no indication for alarm. Overall, Euronet seems to be doing well, and the board and executives are trying to act responsibly. But remember, this is just one snapshot in time. The real story will be how they perform in the long run and how well they navigate the risks and opportunities ahead clear. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe for more corporate deep dives. Until next time, keep decoding.